support center, and I always forget that one.
English Learning Environmental City Target Group.
Nice one, yeah. Eastern Liverpool Economic Community Trust. Don't ask me what it means. I have no idea. PAG, Partners Advisory Group, were chaired by a representative from Liverpool John Moores University, and they were responsible for collecting and collating data, giving guidance how to collect data, to liaise with the other partners, the other group, to conduct the interviews or the survey, to analyze the data, and to write the final report and to disseminate the report. Did I say report? Report. Craig, who is the project manager, Liverpool Yemeni Association, and Association of African Nurses and Midwives. These guys were responsible for data collection, data collation again, and just providing some guidance. The methodology was, sorry, I need to go back to this one. The methodology was developed by lots of meetings between the PAG and the PRAG group. It was actually an idea which was formed between these two groups to target women from these places. What we found, interesting, 2/3 of these women were not involved in insufficient physical activity to promote their health. However, how we measured the physical activity was through self-report. Also, 2/3 of these women were not involved in any sort of community activities. They were usually sitting at home doing nothing due to lots of barriers, language being one of them. Activities. They were so much interested in outdoor activities, a mixture of cycling and walking, ball games. They wanted to take their kids along with them to parks and do some tennis or badminton or any games that they can do in parks. And then we divided the barriers into personal factors, lack of time due to household commitments, lack of motivation. They were not interested in doing any physical activity. They said they don't enjoy doing physical activity. Environmental factors, which was they didn't know where to go and they didn't know what type of activity was available for them. And also they had childcare problem because these were women with, on average, 3 kids, and they needed someone to look after their kids when they were doing some physical activity. That's why they were interested in doing something as a family together. We asked them, what would encourage you to become more physically active? They said, well, organize some family activities for us, organize some women-only activities. These women were mostly coming from Muslim background, so they needed women-only activities. And they suggested that they can do some activities in schools when they go and pick up the kids. They can go an hour earlier, or they can stay an hour later and just do some activities with their kids in school. And they also suggested the use of the place, which is called the community center, to have some organized activities. There were no significant differences in barriers between different groups of women. What it means is, whether they were Arabs or they were Chinese or they were Asian, they all had lack of time and lack of motivation. And this study was successful due to the development of the PAG and the CRAG group, and also people who conducted the interviews were from within those community centers. So if we had, for example, 40 Arab women, there were 5 Arab women who would go and speak in Arabic and conduct the interview in Arabic language. So because of that, because of the translation, and because of that sense of belonging, because of that sense that this is a person from our own community, this survey was really successful.
Okay, so I think the idea of that part of the presentation was much about about this engagement at a community level when we're trying to do an evaluation. We really need to almost run it like we run an evaluation as you would do a program as such, that they go hand in hand. And I think we did it. We actually managed to collate data from 213 women in that, which is really quite a success story, to be honest. Okay, just some summary before I move on. One more slide of this. So I think one of the key things about Liverpool is we have developed successful partnerships, and they've been established between health, the local authority, and the university. Second is this new neighbourhood delivery system. We talk about how do you get to your community, and there's a neighbourhood approach now where there are neighbourhood management teams dealing with real issues with real people in their places. And the Kensington project that Massimo just spoke about was one of those. Last year, over 151,000 beneficiaries of physical activity programmes. That means 151,000 people recorded as attending a programme somewhere, which is just over a third of the population of Liverpool, which is a bit of a success as well. Activities increased by 0.75% per year, less than the 1% target, but it's on the way up, and higher, increasing at a faster rate in other parts of the country. That equates to about 5,500 more Liverpool inhabitants meeting those activity criteria. There's been a plateau in overweight in children in Liverpool for some reason. We think that's much to do with the programme that's been going on over the past few years. We know that 60 minutes of activity is too low. And the evaluation process should be established at a population and programme level. So in other words, in Liverpool we've got data at the population level, but the overall population, but we've also got data in detailed data in small projects, and we piece that together within our framework to look at what's going on in across the city. And just earlier on we talked about effectiveness, but also we're starting to work now in cost effectiveness. Cost effectiveness is really important. Certainly in health I've almost always worked with cost effectiveness. In physical activity we haven't, and it's absolutely essential that we actually find out what the costs are for increasing activity by 1% per year in that population. So what's next in Liverpool? Right, this year, every person over the age of 60 and under the age of 18 has a free pass to a leisure centre in Liverpool. Has free swimming in Liverpool. That's one thing. The neighbourhood delivery model will be new. Okay, we'll also be having management at the local level, and we're starting to use GIS data to actually map out using maps where our activity is happening. We're going to pilot a cost effectiveness model across a number of our programs to look at what the real cost is to do that, and look at some real outcome measures. We've talked about the social marketing approach with the tankers happening in Liverpool. We need to target the inactive people more effectively, although I think we've been doing that. But there's pressure now because of money. This global recession's impacting. The evaluation programme should have been funded for 3 years from this year onwards. We've just got 1 year's funding to continue the evaluation. So we've got some problems. We're going to use the REAIM framework to both plan and evaluate programmes. In fact, we're doing that right now. We're trying to train people up across the city to engage in, and that's a really good website. If you're interested in evaluating health promotion, that is really useful. I'm not sure anybody uses it, but it's a really useful tool to use. The key issue for us is maintenance is the problem. Maintaining the programmes because of money. Most programmes are funded on short-term funding. Okay, it's 3 years funding at the most, and to keep those programmes going is a problem. And to do that, we need to demonstrate that they work and they have an impact on health and on health outcomes. So it's a bit of a long presentation, but thank you from Liverpool.
Who had the key idea of starting this sort of comprehensive project?
It started back in 2000. There was a government. The government appointed somebody to analyse the health service. They came up with a simple message that health promotion can be more cost effective than treatment. They transposed that into a policy called Choosing Health, I mentioned earlier on. Key parts of that document were physical activity and nutrition. So then each local authority then decided what were they going to do about that. In Liverpool, they chose to appoint an active city manager. An active city manager was here last time, a guy called John Marsden, isn't here now. That guy who knew Liverpool, was born in Liverpool, was keen in terms of activity promotion, had the connections, pulled the partners. The key part about this was the guy called John Marsden. He pulled the people together. He knew the partners. He worked for 2 years non-stop and pulled together this group. The group formed this committee, which were representative across the city, and they were involved in developing the strategy. At the same time, Liverpool was very deprived, so fortunately for John at the time, government funded deprived areas with a significant amount of money. So John was given that budget to manage. So within his committee, he then had money, okay, to drive programs, and then that seed was sown, and Liverpool's grown since then from an active city perspective. And I think the other thing about Liverpool is that there's a strong history of, it's a very social type city of working together in partnership. I started the presentation off giving you the reason why Liverpool succeeded in getting the capital of culture, because they took that judging panel to that residents' association in that deprived area. That's Liverpool for you. You know, people don't take risks like that in other cities. They took a big risk doing that, but they succeeded. Now, Liverpool leads the way across the UK in a lot of ideas for activity promotion, but in terms of active city, it was John Marsden who was appointed as the active city manager, who really was given the time to work through the city and pull the key people together to make a decision and set a strategy up for the delivery of and coordination of activity programs with a focus on health, as opposed to just sport and elite sport.
Yeah, one key factor that I was thinking when you represented our model here, to whole active city idea maybe is what we are at the moment, from my perspective, missing of knowledge. Who are the inactive ones? Why are they not active? And how could we motivate them to become active? We sports people are so keen to sports and physical activity that it's very difficult to understand for some people that they are absolutely not interested in physical activity whatsoever. They just ignore it. And I think that these are the key target group when we are trying to get population level activity up high. How to reach? So did you or have you in Liverpool studied the inactive group, their motivations or their conceptions about physical activity and reasons why they are not, and so on?
We've got some of the Black and Asian minority group.
Yeah, from them, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, from obese people or in more general level.
We have lots of programs running in Liverpool. Gosh, where do I start? There's a program running for children, for families with obese children.